and I think it was very intense. Out of 15, only 7 survived, others left. We couldn't get them. Even this, you call them, they cannot come back because it was so intense. Mentorship should be like military training.
I'm serious.
Yeah, you don't need to joke around. Like just as I said, we don't have time. We are chasing the wind every time. You are looking for money left and center. You cannot waste my time. So if I give you an assignment, you have to do it, or else you will do it.
There's no bargaining.
There's no bargaining.
Yes.
So, interestingly, the seven people at that time that intake who remained, we have positioned them in different organizations, and up to now, because I follow them up, they are the best performers in those organizations. Every time they do performance appraisal, they are the best performers. Back then in my village, Shogome, it's very important to, after like how many years you have forgotten, someone said, the time you spent with me, impacting me, made who I am. It is so fulfilling. Yeah. I read somewhere on Facebook, some young person, by then she was in a senior tour, I was at university, and we took them through mentorship program. And recently on her birthday, on Facebook, I read that if it was not her, but I would not be who I am. Many years. So I think it's so fulfilling. When we were on break, our producer said, but also a mentor needs a mentee so that you feel fulfilled that you have mentored someone. I think I agree with him. When you have worked with someone and you see he's out there impacting the world, you feel fulfilled. So it is really my passion and my ambition to see every young person flourish, prosper out there in the world, and through that I normally get time to allow to mentorship.
Interesting. So if you're watching us today and you feel you have experience that you can share with someone, your neighbor, your neighbor's friend, your neighbor's child, just do it as a way of giving back to society, as a way of giving up to, giving back to Africa, as a way of impacting. Let's stop complaining about what the young people of today are doing and hold their hand. You who knows what we are doing wrong, show us what we can do differently.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's a very good way of giving back to society. And so hear his call. Sign up to be a mentor, and just hold a couple of people and empower them. Just say, is every parent a mentor?
Every parent should be a mentor.
Yeah,
so they are not.
Should be a mentor. You see, we define mentorship in different angles. In religious circles, we call it discipleship.
Okay.
So like what Jesus did, walking with the disciples for 3 years, going with them, healing diseases, casting out demons, all that is mentorship, because he was able to walk with them and they were able to see him in what he was doing. And that's why when he gives them the Great Commission, they have watched him, so whatever that he has been doing, they are going to do. At home, we call it parenting.
Okay.
Parenting. So if you're able to raise a child, you're able to train your child, all that is mentorship. It's life on life. It's mentorship. In the corporate circles, we call it mentorship. So every parent should be a mentor, because there is already a relationship. You are already together. You know each other. You want the best for this child. You are already in their space. So there is a good probability that the best mentors are parents. Today when you ask people, which person has had a profound impact on your life? Most people will say, my father, my mother. Why? Because they were always available. So to parents, fellow parents out there, let's be available for our children. Let's be available to mentor. Because like we have said, you have to be present to mentor someone. You cannot mentor people from a distance. Well, you can try, but it will not be as effective as it would have worked if it was right there. Sometimes a child will do something at home, and maybe that is a moment to pause and reflect on that situation.
Yeah.
And that situation could be a teaching moment for a very profound truth. So parents, if we are to be more present, if we are to be more observant, if we are to be more alert, we can find many opportunities to mentor children.
And if you don't mentor them, someone else will. So if you have a specific direction for your children, it's you to take them on that direction. If you don't, Google will teach them. Someone else will mentor them. And you don't know the direction they are taking them.
Yeah, true. So, because nature hates virtue. So if there is a virtue in your children's life, there is someone else who's going to
feel it.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. What Herbert, what are some of them? Like 3 things you think need to be put in place for a good mentorship relationship to thrive?
What should be in place? I think we have already mentioned them. Time.
Okay. Time on both sides.
Time on both sides. Commitment on both sides. And the third one, you are taking me in an exam. You remember the other time?
You can take it on.
Yeah. Of course, commitment has already been mentioned.
Yes.
And we cannot emphasize that enough. That for this to work, there has to be commitment.
Yeah.
If you're not committed, it's better you don't waste your time. It's also better you don't waste your mentor's time. The second thing is confidentiality. Confidentiality.
Yeah, sure.
There is a story in the Bible about Noah. So Noah, having saved his, God saved him and the family, so they come out of the ark. So Noah drinks himself and becomes silly, and dresses and is there naked in his house. So one of the children comes and sees him in his nakedness, goes out and tells the others that, hey, come and see daddy. You can't imagine what daddy is doing in that tent. He's just there. The other one comes and covers his dad, but covered him in such a way that he did not see his nakedness. When Noah got back to his consciousness, he blesses the one who covered him and curses the one who did not. In our work with mentors, we shall sense and realize that they also have their own gaps. As a mentee, you need to cover your mentor's nakedness. When they open up to you and they share with you their struggles, they are telling you in an effort to help you to understand what life is all about. If you dishonor that and go and share this word out there, you're breaking confidentiality. It will not work if you do not honor confidentiality. It's very key. People will be vulnerable to you, but it's important that we honor the value of confidentiality. The other thing is openness to learn. Sometimes we are stuck in our ways. We have certain mindsets of doing certain things. So your mentor encourages you to try something new, and for you, you're not willing to try this new thing. So there has got to be an openness to learn new ways of doing things that you have always done your own way. So just to add to what Herbert had already mentioned, commitment, I want to add confidentiality and openness to learn.
And openness to learn.
And to take the feedback, because sometimes someone will say something and sometimes you say, no, you don't understand me. You're not understanding me. You don't know where I'm coming from. When someone gives you feedback, keep quiet and take it, because they are saying it because they are seeing something. So be open, take feedback well and graciously, and then keep everything confidential.
Maybe to add on, when you are in the presence of a mentor, what you need is to ask and listen. Don't go into argument. You are arguing, yet you are looking for knowledge. You can always receive what you want and receive and take what you want, rather than coming to argue, agree and disagree. I think someone will say, this guy, I think is not interested in my mentorship program. So to me, I think receive what you can receive. Go out and receive the information you want. But also, like he mentioned about integrity. If I'm a man and a young girl has come to me to mentor her, I should have that character that I will not spoil have vulnerability as a young girl, and vice versa to men. So there should be that integrity, and if you think that you cannot handle that, please don't be in an open place, or go with your spouse, or go with someone else in an open place, but never meet an opposite sex while in that mentorship, when you know your character is somehow weak.
I think that's a very interesting thing to point out, and it speaks volumes, and it would be very important for mentors to take that into consideration. If you're going to mentor the opposite sex, you can even tell her, you know what, get a few friends of yours, let me mentor a group of you. You know, if you have to come home, like, just to create that environment of ease. You know, because else then she may be on tension, you know. So just, you want to create an environment of ease for her to be able to be, you know, to be receptive to what you're sharing. Just so you mentioned feedback, and, you know, to be able to take feedback well. But there is also sometimes when someone gives you feedback that is biased, that maybe it's just bringing you down. Is also, should I also take that feedback gracefully and accept it?
Okay, if you have chosen a mentor, I believe that you have certain reasons why you chose this mentor, and I believe you looked for someone who is interested in your growth. So if this person says something, believe that it's coming from a good place. Otherwise, if you sense that this person may not be a good cheerleader or supporter for you, then maybe you may not pick that person as a mentor. But if you're going to look for someone that is going to be kind to you and point out areas of improvement, I think you have to take them. If this is someone that you have identified and said, I trust that whatever this person says to me is coming from a good place. So when they say something, there is a reason why they are saying this. They are not doing this to hurt you, they are doing this to help you. Just to add on the point of boundaries, I think it's a very important point that Herbert mentioned, that let us establish boundaries that are going to help this relationship to thrive. So for example, if you're married, you may not entertain phone calls at about, deep in the night, that your mentor or your mentee is calling you. It begins to cast doubt. Where you meet, is it in closed places? You're going to go to a bar or a nightclub. Really? Is that a good place to have a mentoring relationship or conversation? So put in place boundaries that are going to protect you in order for you to have a smooth, successful, and a healthy mentoring relationship.
If you're just joining us, this is Flourishing Hub, which is a show that airs every Monday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. We usually have different guests, and we have different conversations around our 4 major pillars: mentorship, strategy, money, and daring. We do believe daring is very key into becoming the best version of yourself. So back to the conversation today that we've been having on mentorship. Herbert, what made mentorship one of your strong pillars? In Ridgeline, in Young and Flourishing Network, it is a song you sing. Why?
Why? Because I think last time I told you that I was lucky to know my purpose on earth when I'm still this young at 42 years.
You're really young.
Yeah. 42, I'm still young. Since over 20 years ago, I observed that young people, they need someone to hold their hands and walk with them. And when I reflect, if you read in my book, Young and Flourishing, when I reflect how my grandmother and my grandfather walked my hands, they walked my hands to make me who I am, I realized that there's nothing very important than mentoring young people. Not only young people, also like just as I said, also old people. So it is very important because you don't know. Many people, especially in our setting, we think that we know things. Like now, I can learn from Jesse, and I can learn leadership or something else from him, and he can also learn something from me. That's why I said it's about experience. So even when you have, for example, when you want to be an engineer in that career path, look for someone who is an engineer and who has succeeded in that career path. But also, you will not grow only in engineering. There are some other aspects of life that you need to grow in, especially like spiritual, like personal growth. That person could be so much experienced in engineering, but is not experienced in spiritual growth, is not experienced in personal growth. So you don't need one mentor, you need very many mentors. If you read these successful business people and world leaders, they have very many mentors. They have over 10 mentors. Someone to mentor them in public speaking, someone to mentor them in finance, someone to mentor them in other areas. So I realized that you cannot transform communities, you cannot transform Africa if you don't know how to. So you give what you have.
What I'm hearing you say is that it's one of your strongest pillars because someone held your hand and you're who you are today because of the impact of the people that have been in your life that held your hand.
And since I'm transforming lives of other people, I'm transforming them because I was mentored. So I know that these young people are going to transform communities, are going to transform Africa. They should be mentored. By the way, another thing I've remembered is that you give what you have. Fictitious mentors, I think fictitious mentors are not good mentors. For example, you want to mentor me in finances. Where are the numbers? Where are the numbers? This kind of theoretical mentorship really won't work. Someone should have an experience he or she has gone through, he told her, and he has reached somewhere. Maybe he's not yet up there, but he has reached somewhere. But the thing of saying, you go and do this, you go and do this, and you'll be like this, when you have not gone through that, that's theoretical mentorship, which
it reminds me of a story Jesse once told me of Mahatma Gandhi. There is a lady who wanted him to tell her son to quit sugar. And then he came, she comes with her son, he's like, I want you to tell my son to get off sugar. Just tell him. Gandhi says, come back after 2 weeks. So it is like, but then 2 weeks, why can't you tell him? Like, it's just tell him. Then she comes back 2 weeks later. The lady is like, Gandhi is like, come back 2 weeks more. That's a month. So this time, he tells the son, get off sugar. So the lady is like, why did it take you a month to just say something that would have taken 1 minute? And his response was, I needed first get off sugar first.
Wow.
I needed first get off sugar first before I can tell him to get off sugar. I found that profound. Just say in under 1 minute, how would you wrap this up to our viewers?
Well, all of us, you and I, are where we are today because someone held our hands. The best thing we can do for humanity, in fact, someone said that service is the rent we pay for living in this world. Service. So let's go out and serve. And the best way to serve is by helping someone else. Sir Isaac Newton said that if I have seen far, it's because I have stood on the shoulders of giants. Sir Isaac Newton was mentored by somebody. We may not know, but we know Sir Isaac Newton. Let us go out and mentor someone. Let us go out and hold someone's hand because you and I have been mentored. Truly, we have what it takes to mentor someone else. So let's go out and render service because it's the best way we can give back to the world.
Thank you, Jesse. How about close this up?
Yeah, the moment you think you know, that's the beginning of your death. You are dying. The moment you think that you know, that's the beginning of your death. So know that you need to be vulnerable and go and get someone to hold your hand. even me now, I have different mentors who are mentoring me, and it's because I am doing what I am doing because there is someone out there who is watching me, whom I am accountable to, and who is helping me to be who I am. So out there, the mentees, please go and look for someone, not only young people, but also old people who don't have mentors. It's high time that you get someone to go at work with in this life journey.
Thank you so much for both of you sparing time to come and talk to the people out there, to especially young people. I believe they have picked a thing or two, and there is something they're going to do differently as a result of today's program. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
And for our viewers out there, thank you for always tuning in every Monday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and learning from us. Feel free to give us feedback on our social media platforms, that is Young and Flourishing on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. Catch also the previous episodes and let us know what you think, and also what topics you wish us to share, especially topics under our 4 major pillars of mentorship, daring, strategy, and money. Let's make some money. Have a good night.